Good heavens. We've got broken insulators all down this line. Insulators that were put here last year have broken. Look at that one. It's not touching, but it's broken. All three on this pole. Broken. Must be some kind of cheap insulators. We're gonna have to come back and replace all of these. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful late spring morning, and we're actually starting finally to get some grass in the hay fields and some grass in the cow pastures. We're a couple weeks behind. You can see the apple trees are just beginning to blossom, and things are beginning to dry out after all this rain we've had. So today's mission is to get the cows on pasture, and that involves two things. One is we're loading the steers into a trailer and hauling them over to our other farm where we've got dedicated pasture for them, and then we'll get the cows out in the first section of remote pasture, out from their inner pasture where they calve, and so we can get them on just a little bit more grass. Okay, job one, getting the steers in the trailer. Now let's get the trailer over to the other farm. These pastures are actually connected, and it's possible for us to run animals right over to the neighboring farm just by going through our back gate. But it's just a lot easier to put them in this trailer and haul them over on the highway. Just a lot faster. So we'll bring them back by just leading them through the pastures, because they'll want to come home by the end of the summer. But for now, this is just a little more efficient. Yeah, let them out. There's a lot of grass here. Come on, you guys, start eating. Boy, this grass is better than I thought. You can see our gate system that we installed last year gives us a triple paddock here. Two large pastures that allow us to rotate back and forth and keep the pressure off the grass so it can last the summer. And these are really lush, pretty wet down on that end. Not so wet that it won't grow grass, but wet so it regenerates. And the last paddock is just a little one here that also generates really good grass and has a shed, a south-facing shed, so they can get in out of the summer heat, because summer heat is coming. But we also have these pines all the way along here that provide really good shade for them in the hot weather of July and August. And because, you know, these are Angus, they're black, they really absorb the heat. And we've noticed the last few years in our home pastures, the cows are overheating. So we've had to develop strategies so that they can keep cool. How high did the fencer test?
0. Not hot.
So the fence, even though we checked it last week, is now down, and we don't know, has no power. So these guys are in an unpowered fence right now, and we want to take care of that. So we're out here walking the fence line, looking for somewhere where maybe a deer or something went through it and got it tied up in the old sheep fence, the exterior fence. You can see the hot wire is here, and there's this old woven wire outside of it. Very close to touching right there. Something went through that. But it wasn't touching. So we'll disconnect this line right here, and that will help isolate a circuit so we can find the bad spot. There, that cuts off a large section of this fence where the potential short is. Now we'll go back and test the fencer and see if that made a difference. Lots of walking when you're a farmer. It's good exercise. The steers seem preoccupied with grass. I don't think we're going to get anybody running through the fence. Well, it's disconnected, but you never know because they are steers. So, but right now I'm looking at them, and they just seem like they found a tree to scratch on, and they're overstanding in the shade already, even though it's relatively cool out. They like that corner shade spot. All right, let's plug this baby back in and see if it snaps. That's not a good sign. Doesn't appear to be strong enough at all, but we'll go over to a fence line and we'll plug in the tester over on a fence line and see if we can get any kind of a reading. Nothing. Nothing there. Nothing there. So I'm wondering if my ground is just weak. I don't see any spot where the fence is touching anywhere over here. It's going to take some more exploration. So the ground has been checked and rechecked, hooked up, and the power wire has been replaced and it's working, and the fence is still dead. So now we're going to go around and disconnect each circuit that we hooked up or that we built last year until we can isolate the spot that's not working. There's got to be a short somewhere. Well, look at that. A wire against a metal pole. A complete short out of the fence. And a broken insulator. And look at that, insulator broken. Oh, good heavens. We've got broken insulators all down this line. Insulators that were put here last year have broken. Look at that one. It's not touching, but it's broken. All three on this pole. Broken. Must be some kind of cheap insulators. We're going to have to come back and replace all of these. Every insulator broken on this fence line. At least these old ones. Over the winter, every one of them broke. Well, now we're in the process of putting insulators back on, all these broken ones, and we need to reconnect this wire, which we took apart in the testing process because there was nothing wrong with it. Well, that seems to have done the trick. We've got power all the way around now. I'm just headed back to the back corner to reconnect the north fence line. And but at least the paddock where the steers are right now is, well, it's all connected and it's hot all the way around. It snaps when you put the tester on it. So that's good news. There's just a lot of grass here. This grass is going to last these guys, I don't know, a couple weeks, I think, before they have to go over to the other side. And if this rain continues at the pace we've been getting, I think this pasture will be good for the summer. And maybe we won't have to feed round bales over here, or these 3 paddocks. Time will tell. There, good as new. Nothing's touching. Now we just need to plug in the fence and test it, and we should be good for the day.
It's sparking, you can see it, so it's hot. That's up to 5. That's 5. That's 5. That's hot.
So we've let the herd out on pasture, the first section of pasture. You can see they're grazing all around me here. And so they've been in a small paddock up next to the calving area up till now, and the grass is looking a little thin. You know, it's definitely a late grazing season, just like it's been a late overall spring. But this first paddock, you know, less than 2 acres, we'll get them started. They'll work on this for a couple of days, and then we'll move them on to the next group of paddocks and keep our rotational grazing plan going. One of my concerns is that now that we've had all this rain in the last couple of weeks, the grass is going to explode and the cows are going to have trouble keeping up with it. We've actually skipped our first 2 paddocks that we normally use, which are old sections of hayfield that we fenced off. And you can see it on the hillside up above me. And so we're gonna let those grow a little bit. They really haven't grown very well. Just maybe not enough sunshine, or maybe too much stress. So we're gonna skip those and let those get a little bit taller so we can work the traditional pasture to start with, and just keep bouncing them from paddock to paddock just so they take the tops off, so that we can continue to get some good pasture regrowth this summer. Good heavens, your hair is warm out here in the sun. You haven't shed all your winter coat yet. I need to get you a scratching post. How you doing? How you doing? You're a pretty good cow.